What's up, everybody? This is the Force of Nature, Spiritual Awakening, and today we will be discussing Mercury squared Saturn in the natal birth chart. So, first, we're going to break down what Mercury is all about. So, Mercury is linked to Gemini and also Virgo. It rules over the third and the sixth house in the natal birth chart. Mercury is about your mind, it's about your mental capacity, it's about your intelligence, the way that you communicate, your body language, when you move your hands, also networking with people, okay, interacting with people. But it really has a lot to do with your intellect, okay? So now, Saturn is linked to Capricorn. It's also linked to Aquarius. All right, now the 10th house in the natal birth chart is rules over Capricorn. Okay, Capricorn rules over the 10th house. So Saturn is about order, discipline, restriction, limitations. It has to deal with authority. Okay, Saturn is about life lessons, and it's also about karma and past life karma, things that went on and took place in your past life that you bring on into this life. So Saturn wants to delay things to you, give you rough life lessons, obstacles, put hurdles in your way, okay, mountains to climb, so you can fully understand and grasp what is going on so that you can appreciate, okay, what Saturn is going to give you. All right, so we're going to move into this. Mercury squared Saturn in the natal birth chart. So, an individual with Mercury squared Saturn will often possess a decidedly methodical mind and probably the kind which can produce a good organizer or a successful businessman or successful businesswoman. However, such a person can get stuck on the mental plane, leading to frustration, and it can indicate some part of learning. So these men and women can struggle with learning, especially early on in life. Okay, they are the type of people that probably when they took tests, and they were being timed, they probably did fail the test sometimes because they're preoccupied with the time and not the information. Okay, but usually with these men and women, if they are not being timed, they can pass. Okay, they can pass. Does take them a little bit more of a time to really process information because what's going on here is that Mercury um, squared Saturn, well, Saturn rather, Saturn is slowing down the mind so that they can fully understand and grasp information. Now, what usually happens is once they read something once, twice, three times, now they have it embedded inside of them, inside of their mind, so they can hold within them. Okay, the information can sit with them for a long ass damn time. Okay, but usually if they read something one time, they might have to go back again. If they watch something, they might have to watch it again. Okay, just so that it could be clear enough in their mind. Okay, so moving on. However, such a person could get stuck on the mental plane, leading to frustration, and it can indicate some part of learning. So communicating or a simple expression of their self through words is painfully awkward for these men and women. Sometimes it is rudely referred to as the individual who's suffering from some kind of mental constipation. There also seems to be a strong association with speech difficulties with this aspect, such as stuttering, okay, and also with defects of hearing. This is what could go on and take place with this. So now, just moving along. So now, astrology schools will say that these two planets are naturally friends. The meeting of the mental plane and physical matters give an overall structure and purpose, showing a practical application of the mind. There is a willingness to take responsibility and to work for some kind of academic achievement. However, as reality bites, It can also show a failing in learning how to communicate sufficiently and a deep frustration in regards to developing their intellectual abilities to the fullest. Okay, so these men and women are struggling. They are struggling with their speech, um, their words coming out so that people can fully understand what they are talking about. This can go on to take place. What ends up happening is that these men and women will be able to speak and talk very influentially, okay, and even effectively. Okay, it takes time. Saturn takes time with anything that it's in. Okay, actually, I do have this placement, so I really am in tune with everything that's going on here. A lot of times when I'm doing my videos, you see that I stumble on my words. I'm not really a stutter person, okay, or somebody that stutters, but I definitely do stumble on words, okay. My mind, it moves very fast. I have a lot of things that makes my mind go fast. This particular aspect is I'm slowing it down to an extent so I can fully understand and grasp and pinpoint things that are going on. But you will notice that even in this today, I'm probably going to fumble on a word here and there, stop and pause and things like that. But this is what goes on and takes place. Now, what usually happens is once you've read through information, okay, watch something, saw something, anything like that, this is where you'll be able to hold it inside of you longer, okay? So now, moving back into this. At its worst, this contract has been called closed minded with a fearful mind, always expecting the worst. Overall, the mentality is highly focused on reality, and there's a stable, sound quality to judgment. Often there is a sardonic humor, grimingly mocking, or cynical, and it is based on a deep intellectual observation of the real world. Okay, what these men and women also do is that for them, things are either this way or that way. It's nothing in between for them. Okay, it's not. Huh, it's kind of this and it's kind of that. No, they're black and white. Okay, it's either this or that. That in between shit, no. You got to get rid of that in between shit when you're dealing with these men and women because it ain't. It's either this or that. That's it. It's either black or white. It's either blue or yellow. Okay, it's either yes or no. It's no maybe. Okay, this is how they are. Moving along. Okay, so now I'm just trying to find where I was at. See that? So now the mentality is highly focused on reality, and there's a stable sound quality to judgment. Often there is um, a sardonic humor, grimingly mocking or cynical, and it is based on deep intellectual observation of the real world. So frequently, through this, um, pessimistic views also shine a great wisdom. It can reveal good timing with words and present an individual who is not easily fooled, serious when necessary, and level headed. This is what these men and women can be. Not easily fooled. Okay, so it is going to be very difficult to put a wall over their eyes. Don't get it fucked up and don't get it twisted because definitely could happen. Okay, but these men and women, they're not easily fooled. They are serious as fuck. Okay, they're very serious. So a lot of times people could perceive them as being cold, distant, detached. But in all reality, what it is they're just serious. Okay? So, at its best, we often see an individual with Mercury squared Saturn as an authority in education, literature, and learning. Still, the individual has felt challenged in learning how to communicate to others clearly. A sober attitude with a um, pain talkingly patient concentration helps them to achieve their intellectual goals over time. They can be too exacting, feeling dissatisfied, frustrated, and angry at work. This is going to happen quite often, okay? Especially if they're on a job that they do not enjoy. If they do not enjoy the job that they're working at, they will be aggravated, agitated, bothered, okay? At times feel overwhelmed, feel dissatisfied, okay? Don't have the contentment there. This is what can go on with them. Also, feeling like a wet blanket, but there is often genuine disappointment with schooling or the feeling of not having had the same educational opportunities as other people did. Okay? So, Mercury squared Saturn can reflect parental criticism, unfavorable judgments, and it has resulted in a consistent negative inner voice. Okay, so now a parent could have definitely been very antsy, very anxious, filled or depressed, and the child picked up on this negative energy, this negative vibe. All right, this is what happened with these men and women. The mind of the individual with such a contact is often paralyzed, so they feel unable to make a move intellectually. Nobly, they feel unable to make, nobly, this aspect can also be indicative of a compulsive need to control the learning environment. Truth be told, negative emotions are more memorable than positive ones, and so early learning challenges or never feeling good enough for parents or teachers' approval can be emotions forever in their memory. Okay, so what's going on with this is that these men and women went through a lot of different things early on in life. They saw a lot of different things, okay, perceived it a certain kind of way. They are more prone to thinking about the negative, thinking about the negative outcomes of things, negative circumstances, and negative memories are constantly, consistently in these men and women's heads, opposed to the positive things and the things that went on that were great. Okay, they really cling to painful, traumatic events, emotions. Okay, everything goes towards that. It's just what it is. So the individual's greatest challenge is coming to terms with this inner critic and learning to master this looming shadow over communication, coping with dark and negative thoughts. So these men and women do have dark thoughts, okay? May even have dark dreams, okay? For self mastery, this could mean completely a long term project, writing a book, something involving organization and structure. The goals are efficiently and the accomplishment of great work. Okay, so now I'm going to jump off of this for 1 second because I did want to pull this up just to go a little bit more into depth into this. Okay, so with Mercury squared Saturn, you are intelligent, traditional, reserved, shy, hardworking, ambitious, responsible, narrow minded, pessimistic, and in some cases, scheming and deliberately deceitful or dishonest. Okay, so these men and women may have had a difficult childhood due to problems with your father, which you may make your defensive, suspicious, insecure, or depressed. Okay, so because things went on and took place with the father, whatever went on and took place with the father, these men and women become very defensive, very cautious, very alert, suspicious, insecure, and even can become depressed. So you can be mentally inhibited or too tied to traditional thinking and may be uneasily rigid in adhering to discipline and observing law and order. You may have dental and or hearing problems and shouldn't smoke. This aspect is good for big businessmen and politicians. You tend to work excessively and are too concerned with trivial details. So these men and women are concerned with trivial details all the time. You lack imagination, but when you have an original idea, it doesn't gain acceptance with traditional thinking or thinkers. Your education may be rigidly disciplined, but your poor memory causes many problems with your studies. This can be overcome with patience and persistence. Your tendency to be jealous, fear of change, and of danger or failures means you have few real friends. So these men and women do not have a lot of friends. They probably have about one or two, um, and definitely four would definitely be the top. But they do not have a lot of friends that they can trust or even feel like they can even count on. Okay, in position of authority, you may belittle others' ideas. You're likely to get in trouble with written communications and contracts. Okay, so you do need to be cautious with that. That you do not want to get caught up in those type of things. Okay, and just moving a little bit more deeper. So Mercury squared Saturn, men and women. Okay, so they possess a big challenge to overcome. All right, so it is a challenge that these men and women do need to overcome. The challenge is in the mind and with communication. So these men and women are striving to be extremely well communicators. A lot of people that have Mercury squared Saturn believe that they are strong communicators. Okay, the truth be told is that they're not. They try their hardest to be. They're looking to do it. A lot of times they get into arguments and they're either going to be very explosive, okay, very direct, very animated. Um, a lot of outbursts can be seen by this, okay, because for them it's either this or that, nothing in between. Or they can decide they don't want to even keep arguing with you, cut your ass off. Okay, so you do need to just be a little careful with it. But now when you cut somebody off and you detach, it's almost like you could have communicated with the person, let them know how you felt. Okay, but a lot of times these men and women do that, and people don't fucking understand that. So they prefer to just say fuck it, and I ain't even gonna deal with it. Okay, so now challenge is in the mind and with communication, as Saturn restricts and inhibits this basic of life. So you will face constant tests for you to perfect the deficiency you came into this world with. There is no doubt that you can master these skills, as seen by the list of celebrities who have reached the top in the chosen fields. So now, as we already said, these men and women can be extremely narrow minded. Okay? So, narrow mindedness and paying too much attention to minute details must be replaced by a larger view of the world. Shyness can be overcome by stepping out of your secure little comfort zone and such as joining the debating team at school or speaking in public. Step by step through learning how to make friends and gaining confidence on a one to one basis is a good starting point for these men and women. Now, negative thinking can often be by having to deal with too much responsibility all at once or suffering through painful hardships, separations, and losses. These things, plus isolation, loneliness, and insecurity, can often lead to depression, which must be addressed. Okay? It needs to be addressed. Medical help, counseling, or other forms of support. Do not suffer in silence. These men and women have a tendency to do that. When things jump off and take place, these men and women can be very closed off. And it can be hard for somebody to get through to them. Okay, because it's almost like they're not letting anything out and they're not letting anyone in. Okay, so anytime you have this aspect, if you can find somebody that you do feel free enough, that you do trust to talk about things that are going on in your life, that would be very useful and valuable for you. So now, the more you talk and share your darkest thoughts, because these men and women think dark as fuck. So the more you talk and share your dark thoughts, the lighter the load becomes. With with Mercury squared Saturn, you will tend to attract older male mentors who you will learn to trust and value, even through even though you may not always show the respect initially. Do not blame others for any rejection or their apprehend confidence and ease compared to yourself. Until you master this aspect, you could be giving off insecure and fearful energy. Pick up by others, okay? So they could pick up insecure and fearful energy through other people. So you got to be cautious about that, okay? Any resentment on your part makes you, it will make your aura darker, okay? So any resentment on these men and women parts will make their aura even darker than what the fuck it already is, okay? And could potentially lead to nastiness. Okay, their attitudes could be absolutely disgusting. Their mouths can be disgusting. They can go back and forth with you. They can even become very aggressive, even animated, when they are speaking with you. Okay, so replace negative thoughts and words with positive ones by using the mantras, whatever. I don't even know what that word means. Okay, so repeat positive phrases about yourself before you go to sleep. So what this is speaking of right here is pretty much these men and women need to have an optimistic outlook. Think positive and not negative. Okay, if you have to get up every morning and just say, I love myself. I'm going to be successful. I'm going to make it in this world. It's really all about laws of attraction here. Okay, with this placement. Speaking out to the universe what you need, not what you want, what you need. You have to say it with a command. You have to demand what the fuck you want. You're not saying, I want this, because the universe will have you wanting it for the rest of your life. So you say, I need it because it's a need. It's not a want. I need to be successful. I need to be financially stable. I need to have a roof over my head. I need for this situation to happen and to be in my best favor. So you have to speak it into existence and manifest it into your life. This is when these men and women will be able to master this, when they can think positive, speak positive, and now positive shit will come towards them. Okay, so this has been my interpretation of Mercury squared Saturn. So please be sure to check out my online store. It is Grimy Gear at www.grimygear.com. If you need a caterer, be sure to hit me up. I am the Chef Goddess also at Supreme Royale Catering at gmail.com. If anybody needs their chart to be analyzed, please hit me up. Okay. And the birth chart is $70 for 2 hours. Synastry charts are $90 for 2 hours. And also tarot card readings are $50. Any other information that you may need will be in the About section on my YouTube channel. And I also have a bunch of videos on my playlist for you to check out. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you. So love is love. Peace and blessings to you all. This has been a Force of Nature, Spiritual Awakening. See you in the next one.